Hi all, welcome back to Guide to SolidWorks. Now, in this tutorial, we are going to be having a look at another model Mania. This is going to be the 2006 Model Mania challenge that was put out there. So if you have seen the last one, or if you've not, I'll put a link into the top corner so you can have a look at that. That was the 2019 one. These are brilliant little activities for getting used to using some of the new tools and having a go at practicing something a little bit more complex. So looking at the model for this then, so what we have here, let's have a look through. We have this sort of arch shape that changes radius as we go. So we've got R20, we've got R32 there, but we have an undefined R here. So we're going to have to work with that and hopefully create this to define itself. We've got a set distance across the bottom there. So the way I'm going about doing this is creating this center section first, then adding in this dome, and then the fillets in after. So I'm just thinking about the way I'm going to model this and get that in my head before I start off. Once I've created that, that would be a solid model, so I'd have to shell it out, and then I'd create this feature here on the bottom. Probably using a rib tool for that, just to make it a little bit easier for myself. With the rib tool then, once I've created that, I get the option to then add the fillets at the bottom. So just a quick fillet at the bottom there, using the faces. So that's how I'd go about doing it. Now let's have a go at modeling. So first thing I'm going to do on the right plane, I am going to create a sketch. Now this sketch will be created from, in fact, let's not go from there. This sketch is going to be created from some arcs and some circles. So I'm going to start off with a 3-point arc. So let's go for a 3-point arc. So I'm going to go from there to there to there. Now, it doesn't particularly matter how this looks at the moment. I am just going to create some sort of shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a relationship to this origin point. So I'm going to go horizontal there. I'm going to get the central point of the arc coincident with that. And I'm going to get that vertical, like so. Okay, then I'm going to move to a tangential arc. And finish off with a arc at the end there. Okay, so this has created that curvature across the top. Now I'm just going to create some more relationships with that. And there. And I'm going to get them all horizontal. Okay. I'm just going to finish that off with a line across the bottom. And with this, then, I'm going to put some sizes to it. So my distance across the whole length of the bottom there is 92. So let's put 92 in. My radius on this end here is 20. So 20 in there. And my radius here at this end is 32. So I hit 32 in there. And you'll see there, just from using the arcs, how it's fully defined itself, like so. Okay, so now I've got that fully defined sketch. I am now going to extrude that. So I'm going to features, and I'm going to go to extrude. And I'm going to extrude that out via the midpoint, or midplane. And that is going to be 32 wide, like so, giving me that lovely curvature over the top. Now I've got this shape, what I need to do is create a round on here. So to create the round, I am going to come to the bottom side of here. I'm going to create a sketch, like so. And I am again going to create a 3-point arc. Like so. Okay, so I've got some definition to that. I want a radius on there, so I want my radius to be 32, like so, and I want that to be fixed or tangential to there, like so. Now we just need to create a relationship here, because at the moment, okay, so we just need to create a relationship to the 2 points on here to finish that off. So I'm just going to get them, and I'm going to turn them horizontal, and that'll just lock it in place, like so. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to cut away that shape, sweep across this surface. So to be able to do that, I need to create a whole closed feature. So I'm just going to close this off, keeping it fully defined. So I'm sketching across there to there. And I am going to put a dimension just for that so that I know that it's fully defined. It's 5, just enough so it's coming out from the edge of that shape there, from the edge of the material. Like so. Now I want to sweep this over. So to sweep this over, I need to make some contour for it to sweep over. So if I go to my right plane, I'm going to sketch on there. Sorry, yes, I choose the sketch there. Right, so I'm going to go to the right plane, and I'm going to sketch on that right plane. Now what I want is to create a profile across there, so I can select them set edges of my shape or my model, and I can convert entities, giving me that curvature across the top, like so. Exit that, and I've got the sketch in there for the top of that shape. Now from there, I can now go to features, go to sweep cut, and I can sweep the profile along that shape. Now the issue is with this, there we go, it's picked it up fine. So I've selected that and swept it across here. Now the issue is we just want to make sure it goes all the way to the edges, yeah, and it's going to remove that material. So click there, and we get that lovely curvature across the main body. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to put on the sphere shape in the back here. So if I go to the bottom face, I'm going to sketch on there. Working from the center point again, I'm going to go for a circle, and I am going to drag that out. Now that circle is going to be to a diameter of 60, which will keep it just on the inside edge there. And I'm going to trim that down the center. So I'm going to put a center line in, like so, and I'm going to trim that. Get rid of half of that circle. So I've just got a D shape there, or a half circle. So from that, I am now going to revolve that shape. So I'm going to revolve it around that center line. Now at the moment it's revolving 360 degrees. I only want it to go 180. So I've got it to 180, but it's now the other way. So just flip the direction, and it'll be flipped into the right direction there, like so. Okay, and I can tick that. Okay, so now I've got that position, what I can do is I can put my fillets on here. Now the fillets for this are 4mm, so I'm going to have a 4mm fillet going across there, and going across there. It's not going to like that inside edge. So there we go. So going across there and going across there. Take that. And I'm going to repeat for that and for that, giving me the fillets there as well. Okay, so that's the outer shape done. Now what we're interested in is the internals. So we're going to shell this out so we can create them internals. So I'm going to go to the shell tool, and I'm after a 4 milli thickness around the outsides. So 4 milli, tick there, and I'll get that shelled out shape at the bottom. So to finish this off, we've just got the component inside here that we need to add to this. Now, to do that, it's going to be raised up 4 mil. So I need to find the top plate, like so, pull that round. I'm going to hold control and I'm going to drag up on that top plate. That will give me an offset here. If I can change that to 4 mil, that means I know exactly where the internals are going to start. So tick there. And that's the plane that I'm going to be sketching on. So sketch. Now, if I go normal to that so I can see what I'm doing, and at the moment, let's flip that around. So that's just a quick key trick. If you hold down on Shift and use the arrows, it will be able to rotate around. Okay, so in here then, so I'm going to create a circle. Now, my circle here is not going to be exactly to the size of what the dimensions are. I'm going to have to use a bit of ingenuity here. So my circle here, the inside of the shaft that goes down is a diameter of 12, and it's got a wall thickness of 4. Now, to make this a little bit easier for myself, I'm going to use the rib tool here. Now, if I'm using the rib tool, it's easier if I work from the center of the thickness of the wall. So effectively, I've got 12, and I'm going to turn that to 16, because it's 4 one way, 4 the other, so half of 8 is going to be 4. So if I turn that to 16, so 12 plus the 4 gives me the 16, and then I'm going to put on my positions for the ribs coming out. So one line there. It doesn't matter the length on that. It's not defined, doesn't need to be defined. Just put a line coming out there. And I'm going to array that around. So if I go to pattern that around. Go to pattern, circular pattern. Click the line. I don't need 4. I'm going to go to 3. And as long as I've got them equally spaced, they should fit perfectly in position. Select. Okay. Now I've got them. I am going to use the rib tool. So if I go to features, I go to rib. Now it's automatically going to give me a size here of 10. I don't want 10. I want a thickness of 4. So I'm going to go 4, like so. Okay, which means it's going out 2 either way. Okay. Now from there, I am going to tick here, so okay that, and it should fill in the shape down to 4. Oh, we've got it going the wrong way. That's why. So here you can see the arrows pointing up. We just want to change that so flip the material side down. There we go. Okay, so tick at the top. Interesting. So it's saying here that the extension of the rib does not intersect the part model. So let's have a look what's going on. Try that again. I'm just going to extend them rib lines. So when I go to 4 there, and I go down to the bottom, so I'm going in the right direction, flip the material side, and there, and we're fine this time around. Okay, so it's just making sure that them lines are a little bit further out, so that we are intersecting with this side around the outside here of our shell. Now we've got that, we've got our rib in place. We just need to do our final fillet to fillet off the inside of this component. So, fillet tool. Now on this one, I am filleting to a radius of 1 millimeter. So I'm going to change that to 1. And I'm going to fillet everything on the inside of this component. So you're going to pick it up. Decided not to play today. So it looks like it's, oh, there we go. There we go. And then get the inside of here. And there we go. So we've got all the inside shape there. We also want this inside face here. And we have now got the fillet for the whole of the inside of that bottom. Oh, last one there, sorry, just missing that one. Lovely. So tick there. Give it a moment, and now it's all filleted inside. I'm just going to hide that plane, so we don't need that anymore. And that is our step 1, or our phase 1 of our model. So we've now finished the first model, phase 1. Now let's move on to phase 2. So in phase 2, these are the alterations we need to make. We're asked to change the diameter, the thickness, of the top of here, so that gets thinner. So looking at section AA, we are bringing this in at an angle of 15 degrees. So I'm going to be looking at using a draft to do that. And then the other alteration I need to make again is putting a draft or an angle on these faces of 2 degrees, and that's going out wider towards the bottom. So again, using a draft angle on that to create that. So it's not massive alterations. So let's have a go at making these alterations. So for phase 2, what we're going to do is implement that reduction in the draft angle there. And also putting a draft angle onto the underside of here. So let's have a look at that. So first of all, rather than trying to remodel this and mess around with it, I'm going to roll this right back. So I'm going to roll back to this stage where I created that inner workings. Now I've got that inner workings, or that main section through. I'm going to create a draft on there. Now that draft angle is going to be 15 degrees. So draft on the underside of here, change the direction so it's going up, and I'm going to draft these two sides there. And I want that to be 15 degrees. And apply. So now you can see how it tapers up. Now it should hold that shape all the way through. So if I now start to move these out, you'll see we've got that sweep shape over, and it's still added that curvature in. We've then got the revolve of the dome underneath. The fillet, it's picked up the fillet across the top face there, and then the fillet on the sides. Now we're going to shell that, so again, stepping through, it's just included the shell on the bottom there. Plane still added in from the bottom, and then we're going to rib that feature. So I'm back to where I had the rib. Now, again, with this, we are going to create a draft angle. So I'm going to come back to the draft angle there, and I'm going to use that face. Now the face is pulling up, which is going to pull out the bottom. So I'm going to use that. All of these points need to have a draft angle on them, like so, and also the interior there. Okay, they're all the green faces off the original image. So from that, we're going to apply a draft angle. Now in this case, it's not 15 degrees anymore. Our draft angle is 2 degrees. So a 2-degree draft angle, and that will be now applied to that shape. So if I check that out from the bottom view, you will see that it now comes out all the way around. Okay, we still need to include them fillets though, so I'm just going to come back to here, drag down, and see if it pulls out them fillets. Now it's not, it struggled with them fillets, so let's go in and see what it's going to do with them. So, like I say, it's struggling with them fillets. It's got a loop in here, so let's get rid of that. Right, so I'm just going to get rid of these faces and I'm going to re-add them in. There we go. Okay, by getting rid of them loops, we should be okay. And we've just got to finish off with a few last little bits. There. Okay, so again, it's just touch-ups. Everything was in place, so it's just finishing it back off and finish off on the inside of there as well. Oh. Like so. Okie dokie. Now take that, and that'll add in all our fillets. And that's the amendment made. So you can now see, just running through there, how we've now got that thinner section through the top, where it narrows in. And we've now got the draft on the bottom section there, that rib. Okay, now hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully that was useful to you. Have a practice. These little exercises are brilliant for learning the use of new tools. Have a play. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you're enjoying the content, please give us a big thumbs up and a like. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye now.